My name is Willows.
And my name is Tyler.
And welcome to Alcohol Beyond This Point. This is episode 17. This is the business podcast, it says it on the board, where we get drunk and then we compare our sober thoughts to our drunk thoughts and see if they coincide.
And contradict each other, which, I mean, sometimes.
Sometimes.
We talk drunk enough to kind of know where things are already, but sometimes you get surprised. And you know what? You let your guard down, and you get a little bit funnier, at least in our opinion.
I don't know what any of that meant. So today we're not going to go through it beer by beer, but we have a smorgasbord of craft beer in front of us. I have a few more cans than you do, it looks like, but I have the only one I'm going to highlight because it's weird is a banana bread beer by Eagle Brewery. I don't know where they're out of. Hold on. Bedford, United Kingdom, and it's a banana bread beer. I've had, I think, this before, but I've had it in a bottle.
Oh.
It must be the same company, right? There's not fucking two companies making banana bread beer. I don't think it was good, but I think it was a good meme. And you know,
now you have a king cat.
You know your boy, all about the memes. But yeah, we got a bunch of craft beer from different local breweries, some non-local breweries, and let's crack a couple and cheers, Tyler. We're alive.
I'm going for the Ontario White Claw to start.
To our podcast.
And
I don't know, whatever.
My birthday in a few hours.
It's not your birthday yet. Don't fucking get all like that.
Well, I am. Already am.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
It's your birthday tomorrow.
Yep.
Turning 25. Wait, 26?
20.
25.
25.
So you're going to be closer to 50 than you are being born.
Yep.
How do you feel about that?
Well, I don't remember being born, so...
I do.
I also don't...
It was terrifying.
I don't remember being 50.
I do. It was terrifying.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know, any people that have talked to are like, yeah, you start feeling it after, you know, when you get into your late 20s.
Yeah, you're going to be in your late 20s.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I should have my shit figured out by now, shouldn't I? But, I mean, that's also an unfair statement because there's people just leaving college right now and still don't know how to be full-blown adults.
It's also like, yeah, like you own a business... Like at 25,
and I've been an independent adult for like the last 9 years.
You arguably have a lot more life experience than a lot of people. So
I absolutely do,
yeah,
which maybe adds to the feeling of age.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair point. Before we jump any deeper, we're gonna do a quick segment we like to do on this podcast called Shot Caller, where you, the audience, can pick the alcohol, the hard liquor that we take a shot of. Today we have a donation from a awesome, charismatic, and handsome individual named Willows. This is mine. We're just gonna take a shot. It's Crown Royal whiskey. If you've drinking whiskey, you probably have heard of Crown Royal, and it's pretty popular. It's the highest selling Canadian whiskey in the States. But what is actually really cool about it is that it's made just an hour north of here in Gimli, Manitoba.
Yep.
From all Manitoban grain. We have both...
My neighbor hauled their grain, apparently, and he's been in that place, delivered their grain for like 10 years. So.
Yeah. We have both had the opportunity to tour that facility. They don't do public tours, but we've been able to finesse our way in. And it's crazy, right? Like they have building-sized tanks of liquor, like multiple stories, like giant things. So it's pretty cool.
When I was in Cleveland, I saw a billboard I guess painted mural of a bottle of Crown that was like the entire side of like a 12-story building, and it was just a giant bottle of Crown. And I'm like,
yeah.
I guess I like Crown here.
Well, it's crazy, right? Well, even like Ritz, one of the artists on Strange Music, like Tech Nine's label, has a fucking song called Crown Royal. Where he's like, that's my favorite alcohol. Like it's the chorus is like Crown Royal, like fucking. It's like an advertisement, but yeah. So it's just trippy that we grew up with it. So let's take a shot of whiskey, my friend.
plastic shot glasses. That's really smooth. If you're just listening to this and not watching the video, note that I just raw dogged that and Willow took a chaser like a pussy. So.
Oh, the first shot of the night always gets me.
Yeah, it does. This is the Fine Deluxe.
This is just the standard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still really smooth though.
Yeah, no, it's good whiskey. I just the first shot I'm a pussy on.
Yeah. I drink a lot of straight liquor.
Okay, I drink a lot of beer and wine.
Yeah, no, my go-to is at the end of the night I'll pour myself like 2 fingers of scotch or cognac or whiskey and just like sip it straight.
Yeah, I do like a good old fashioned, but I'm more of a beer and a wine guy. I even got back here, if you're watching the video, I have a bubbly sparkling water. I've been drinking legitimately 24 500ml cans of fucking bubbly a week. This is kind of so I have a minor alcohol dependency, if that wasn't obvious. So there was this one day a few weeks ago, this would have been a little bit longer than that because this would have been pre-COVID, but I had like one of my double days where it was like up at 6 a.m., did an event for 8 hours that was like fast-paced, like taxing. I get half an hour between and then I have to do another 8-hour event. And something went wrong and I was stressed the fuck out. So I had like half an hour to run home and like, make a sandwich and then go back to work. And I was literally like tense. I was like stressed out. My heart was beating. And I come home and I fucking opened the fridge and I cracked a beer and I just chugged like half of it because it was also like I was just sweating, whatever. And literally as I was drinking it, I felt my like shoulders relax and my heart slowed down. And I'm like, oh, that's physical addiction.
I forgot to drink a beer today.
Literally. So, but what I've been doing, because I've honestly been trying to be healthier in the last year. I've been drinking where I would like wake up and drink a beer, or I would like have a beer right after work or whatever. I've been drinking like carbonated water.
Yeah.
And I honestly think it's like tricking my body.
Yeah, no, it's a fantastic way to quit like soda and sugar addiction too.
Yeah. Because these are 0 calorie, 0 sugar, 0 fat, 0 everything. They're just like, they're flavored with natural flavors and they're just water, right?
Yeah. I'm hooked on like, it's been getting better last 2 weeks, but like caffeine, like energy drinks, pop, coffee, like I get that throughout the day, which is arguably worse.
Arguably, yeah.
Not arguably, it is worse. It is worse than beer. I mean, you don't have all the carbs and stuff like that, but it is definitely.
But I think there's like the same amount of carbs in a can of Coke that there is a can of beer. I'm pretty sure.
Probably, I mean, it would be easy to fact check, but I'm not going to.
Well, sugar is carbs, right?
Yeah.
So
it's a simple carb. It's a worse carb.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so I've probably been cutting out like a liter of beer a day, like 2 pints by just drinking carbonated water instead.
Yeah. And
so
on the flip side, you're drinking more water, which is apparently.
They say good for you.
They say it's good for you.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and yeah.
It's all the rave these days, water and
so
shit.
Honestly, like, if you have trouble drinking water, like you just can't make yourself do it.
Yeah, flavor.
Drink some fucking flavored water. Like, yeah. So we're gonna transition. So I wrote on the board behind us, if you're watching the video, I wrote episode 17. This is a business podcast because I was listening to the last 3 episodes while I was editing them recently, and they were 95% politics with like no business like twist at all.
And like mostly my fault, but also at the same time, to my defense, like name a year that was more exciting or interesting to talk about politics.
I don't disagree.
It's the entire narrative right now, which is also like shitty. And I was thinking about it today while I was just driving in between job sites, and I'm like, man, I used to consume like no news,
and
to the point where I was like completely ignorant of what was going on in the world, like even simple things.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, I have kind of a routine of like whatever 30, 40 minutes of daily news in the morning. And it's a good mix of like European. I listen to The Economist. I'm starting to listen to Al Jazeera. I listen to Crooked Media, which is like a left podcast network, and then New York Times, which I'm like,
Kind of
a
centrist.
lot of people talk a lot of shit about New York Times. I'm like,
They're pretty centrist, I think.
yeah, I'm trying to figure out like where they're fucking up, and I'm like, I don't know if they're just like reporting straight up lies, sure, but they seem pretty centrist and criticize both sides evenly. But I mean, what the fuck do I know? But yeah, been consuming a lot of media. I'm like, I'm not overdoing it, but also at the same time, I'm like, you know what? I'm not mind feeding in that space of time that I could, because it doesn't affect me anymore. I used to watch it because I like had to pay attention to U.S. politics.
Because you were working in the U.S.
and
so
like over borders and whatever,
Yeah.
like the dollar and the economy and that shit mattered to me.
Yeah.
Now it like doesn't.
Yeah, I know a ton of people that are like, I don't fucking pay attention to politics because I can't, I think both of us find it interesting more than anything.
Yeah, because we want to
Like-
fuck with it when we're older and rich.
But we always say, like, I always ask you, like, do you think the president matters? You're like, no, just the prime minister of Canada matter. No, not really, right? Like, it doesn't really affect our day-to-day lives no matter what.
No, not a lot. No.
They're gonna fuck around no matter who it is.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it is what it is. So, that being said, I do want to talk about politics right now. No, there's this one thing I want to talk about briefly, and then we have a couple business topics we want to transition into, and then we're going to make this episode mostly business. Business. So I just want to talk about, what do you think Joe Biden just picked Kamala Harris for his running mate? What do you think about this?
So first impressions, like in our group chat, it was like not good.
Yeah.
But the more I kind of heard about it, I'm like, okay, so she not long ago like roasted Biden. But
yeah,
like,
she was calling him a pedophile and a fucking like senile old man and a racist and all this. Like,
but when you listen to her actual statements,
yeah,
you can tell she's actually just like killing it in a debate.
Okay.
So that's her thing.
She got roasted by Tulsi though.
Yeah, but she deals it like she handles it well. She can take it. She can take a hard hit, laugh it off, and deal a harder one because she's a prosecutor. She's a litigator. Yeah. Like she's a fantastic debater, and she speaks well. Like she can remember. Like I mean, this is like kind of one of my strengths, which is what we use on the podcast for, and you have the same thing, where you can remember like a lot of different things, like stats and numbers and whatever, complicated things about a complicated subject, and deliver it eloquently.
Yeah.
Because you can your mind holds a lot of facts about shit you're interested in.
Yeah.
I've listened to her go on like a really long speech about like the state of like adolescent imprisonment and their
which she contributes
how
to.
often they reoffend about whatever the speech was about, and she's just like dropping stat fact story stat fact story stat story stat story like just flipping back and forth, and it was like so fluid. And somebody hit her with a question and she just smacked it down. It's like she's got this talent of speaking and debating that
so did Hitler.
people can't. I'm saying Biden is not good at that.
Yeah,
and neither is Trump. He's kind of a bumbling idiot, and he just like will dodge the question, fucking yell louder.
See, Trump's good in the other way.
Yeah.
With the whole wrong. Yeah.
Yeah,
wrong.
Controls the narrative.
Like, that whole thing where he was just like doing that to Clinton, like control, like Kobayashi Maru's it. That's a Star Trek reference for any of you. I don't really like Star Trek, but Kobayashi Maru is like when you there's a test that you always fail in the Starfleet Academy or whatever. So in Star Trek, and they ask, and you can never pass it. You always fail, and that's the test. Is like you have to deal with a unpassable test. And then they ask like Captain Kirk or whatever, like how he passed it, and apparently he like hacked it and changed it. They talk about it in Suits all the time, where it's like if there's no right answer, like break the wall down. Yeah. That Kobayashi Maru is when you basically create a new way to win.
Yeah.
When A and B don't work, you create a C. And that's kind of what Trump was doing with the debates, where it was like, okay, you can either, you can debate her back like this way or this way or this way, but he just changes. It's not a debate anymore. Now he's just fucking yelling.
Well, he's a good negotiator. Like, this is the shit Arneo used to always do. If he didn't like what you were saying, he would change the subject. He would deflect what you're saying.
Yeah.
Disregard it, ignore it, or just like if you drop like a good fact or like a good point, he would just start like attacking you personally.
Yeah.
And like tearing down your ego and like insulting your mother, like whatever. Yeah. Like he would just take it deeper, so you forgot about what you just fucking said because they just went in a different direction, right? It's like it's a really good negotiating tactic. It's just like the, it's just imagine just it's a deflection. You're just backhanding that shit out of the space, and you're like, nope, we're not talking about that. Like, I know you lobbed it at me, and people feel obligated to respond to questions.
Yeah.
Trump doesn't give a fuck.
No.
He's like, I'll answer the questions that make you look good.
I don't think you're wrong when you say that Biden needed someone like Kamala Harris to kind of equal him out.
Mm-hmm.
So I do not like her. I go beyond, so 3 months ago, we were having Black Lives Matter protests and saying defund the police, and he picks a legitimate fucking cop to be his running mate.
But a person of color,
that's a woman person of color. But so Kamala Harris has put over 1,500 people of color in prison in her tenure for non-violent drug crimes.
So here's my counter to that comment, because I've heard you said it before.
Yeah.
And this is kind of one of the things that Democratic Party said in her defense. When you're a prosecutor, your
job is to win for the state.
You're product of your circumstance. You have virtually no influence over policy.
I don't buy it.
She can't be like, I'm just not prosecuting these drug offenses. Because California is insane for drug trafficking.
Then don't become a fucking prosecutor then. Like, I don't know. I don't buy that. Oh, it's my job. Like, I get pissed off at cops saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just enforcing a bad law is worse than creating a fucking bad law. So, especially if you know it's bad and you're fucking... Because she gets on...
Do you think it's a police officer's job or a prosecutor's job to selectively prosecute the law?
I think if they're moral, yeah.
I think that... I'm pretty sure that's not even legal.
I don't give a shit. Neither is smoking marijuana, apparently. Because then she gets on the Breakfast Club and laughs about how she smoked pot in college.
Right.
Well, she's fucking... putting people in life prison for fucking possession.
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah.
So this was one on my list of 30.
Yeah.
She... I can't pull the details right now, but she I forget what the... I was just reading about this. She basically made it so, like... It was more dangerous for, like, sex workers to, like, be solicited. Like, they could also be prosecuted.
Oh, right, yeah.
For, like, being solicited. So,
which is
like, fuck off, right?
Yeah.
And she championed that bill to make that happen.
Mm-hmm.
She fought in the courts and had to go all the way to the Supreme Court because she put a guy in jail. And he's like, hey, I'm innocent. Do some DNA tests on me. It'll prove I'm innocent. She fought to keep him in jail all the way to the Supreme Court instead of just doing the fucking... Cost 2 cents to do a DNA swab instead of the fucking 23andMe.
Mm-hmm.
The Supreme Court said, no, fuck you, do the test. They did it, he was innocent.
Jeez.
Like, black man in jail for fucking murder or whatever it was. Yeah. She's for private prisons. And when the news came out that Biden selected her, private prison stock fucking skyrocketed. There's videos, someone was sharing them in one of these, like...
Also, if you own private prison stock... GG, but fuck you.
Yeah. There was someone shared it in one of my groups of like just Democrat group. And for the record, I'm a part of anti-Republican groups as well. But they shared a video of fucking Wall Street execs popping champagne watching the Kamala Harris being selected. because they like you pick because they were worried that he was going to pick someone more
like Warren.
Bernie Sanders, like Warren or someone like that.
Yeah. No, she's actually
she's establishment. Like
so, yes, but are we talking pros and cons in terms of what we want, or pros and cons in terms of can she win? Can they win?
So
I think it's a pro. I think it's a pro because they can win because she's actually quite centrist.
Yeah.
And Trump can't use those things as like strikes against her because he can't use law and order.
Yeah.
He can't use law and order against Kamala.
All you have to do, so
like there's all these things that he's trying to run his campaign on. She's actually better at him then. That's I think why they chose her.
But a lot of left leaning people would argue that that's why the Democratic Party is fucked. Is because they're picking these centrist people that align with Trump.
They're doing whatever it takes to win right now. That's their campaign. Whatever it takes to win. Whoever the fuck is on the front, we don't care.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes to win, because like I was listening to the DNC yesterday, like some of the speeches.
Yeah, it's on today right now as well.
Yeah. So what are the speeches of yesterday? And they're basically talking about how whatever it takes, at all costs, we need to sacrifice everything to win.
Vote for my team because they're not the other team is not fucking freedom.
Like, that's the front of their agenda.
I hate that rhetoric. How did we get here? Honestly. The last thing I'll say about her...
How much time do you have?
The last thing I'll say about her is she also...
wow, I'm bleeding.
She also, Kamala has put, trans women in male prisons and then fought to keep them there even after they've been assaulted and sexually assaulted.
Oh jeez.
And that's fucked up, especially for a Democrat. But I read this somewhere that all that Trump would have to do is be like, so Kamala, do you think trans women are women?
Yeah.
And she'd be like, well, and then lose half the... But Trump's never going to do that because he doesn't want to answer the quote. Because she would just be like, well, do you? Yeah. And then they're both fucked. But, Kamala's, a lot of her core ideals at her core don't align with any left-leaning person.
No, she's quite...
I would argue she's kind of right-leaning.
Center to right, yeah.
Yeah.
But she's also liberal on, what are the new Green Deal? She's left on healthcare.
She is exactly the opposite of me.
Right.
Where I'm left socially and right economically. She's exactly the opposite. Yeah. She's free healthcare, but let's lock up drug offenders.
Also, here's a great point. I heard this on some other. I think Joe Rogan said this today. He's like, why the fuck are we one of the richest countries in the world, but we're still sweating about healthcare?
Yeah.
The average citizen is still the most common way to get into poverty is medical bills.
Is that a fact?
It's either medical bills or a college education.
Can you explain to me, I'm 5, why people don't just get health insurance?
Medicaid?
Or anything. Okay, so
Medicaid, Medicare. Either you don't qualify.
No, paying for it.
Yeah.
I have a corporate health plan that I bought for my employees and myself.
Yeah.
We pay $30 a month. And then when the hospital gives you a bill that says those giant bills you see? They're $200,000. I get a bill like that. All I pay is my deductible, which is $100.
Right.
And then it gets paid for me.
Right, but
why doesn't everyone just do that?
We also have a basic level of insurance in Canada that's
we have socialized medicine
that covers let's say the first 70%.
Yeah, well,
and your insurance covers that top 30%.
Well, because
your insurance coverage in the States is if you have a family of 4 or 5 kids, you're talking $400 to $600 a month.
Why though? Right?
Well, that's what's included in our income taxes. We don't see that shit. It's $400 to $600 a month for a household, just for Medicaid and basic coverage. So it's usually tied to your employer.
Yeah.
And right now with COVID, with
a lot of people
the number of people unemployed, it makes it even scarier.
So
But a lot of employers don't even have like comprehensive medical care. You know, it's like it's a convoluted system. It's different from state to state.
So
it's
I won't get too far into it because I don't really know the facts enough to argue it. But
privatized healthcare,
so
I don't think is good.
Hold on, because I think it is good, but not in the way that America. Because I don't think America's healthcare is. It's not like privatized is different than free market.
Yeah.
Right. Like. How I understand it is that the insurance companies make fucking backroom deals with the medicine companies and the hospitals and the government to keep prices high and keep like they're all working together.
Yeah, keep people buying insurance.
It's not fucking free market where like anyone can just start a hospital and fucking.
No, it's too big.
Well, and that's the problem, right?
So
that's the problem with 330 million fucking people in a country.
Right.
Like
here's maybe something that we could debate, argue about. I don't know if we actually agree on this, but which functions? I know you believe in like next to no government.
Yeah,
I'm in agreement with that. But
what functions should the government?
What functions should the government control?
Mm-hmm.
My argument would be like transport infrastructure.
Okay.
Healthcare,
and
I would say like utilities and stuff should be crown corporations, like water, hydro, and I think that's about it. Everything else can pretty much work free market.
I would say
it's like your core things for surviving as a human fucking being.
Yeah, should be,
and also. Here's one that fuck Cleveland for doing this wrong. You want to fix your housing problem, do what Manitoba does. Manitoba housing versus Section 8. Section 8 is basically a program that landlords, they can build a property that's the equivalent of Manitoba housing, but Section 8 compliant. So basically they privatize government subsidized housing.
Yeah, because here the government builds the houses.
Right. So here they build the houses, and you pay rent based on your income and all that stuff to get you back on your feet. But the government owns the house. Yeah. They fix it. They own it. They manage it. Whatever.
Yeah.
In the U.S., landlords own it.
Yeah.
But
because you had a ton of Section 8 housing when you were investing in Cleveland.
Right, but it creates a bloodbath, and like honestly, most investors just get burned.
Yeah.
And it's just people. As soon as they hear that their property is owned by, some guy from Israel, they're like, oh, fuck him. They don't want to pay the rent. Because it's like, he's one of them, not one of us. But just from what I've seen, I don't think it's a good system. I don't think privatizing things like public housing is not public housing. You basically are on like rent assist, but on a big scale. Yeah. And it's such a messy system. And the admin is insane. Yeah. The inspectors are like, it's unreasonable.
So, I have two schools of thinking when it comes to this.
Mm-hmm.
One is if everyone acted ideally didn't hurt each other and didn't want to take advantage of each other. Because in an ideal world, we just all cooperate and we just all sell goods to each other at an agreed upon price and whatever.
And I would argue you need more life experience if you expect that to happen.
No, I'm not saying that. Like my idealistic politics are differ than my realistic politics.
Yes. Yes, no, that's true. Ideals are different than practices.
Yeah, but I am smart enough to realize that my ideals can't be applied to everyday life.
Yeah,
because ideally we are you like it?
I'm drinking Walter Malone. It's a watermelon wheat beer from Grain to Glass, a home brewer, and it is a good fucking kick. I like it. It's tasty.
Yeah, and I like it because it's not sugary.
Yeah, it's really
just
good.
a subtle anyway. But I think, idealistically, like I'm a anarcho-capitalist. I don't want any government to exist. But we're not going to get there. I have admitted to myself we're not going to get there.
No, I don't think it's possible. Unless humanity is a common enemy.
Yeah.
It's not possible.
But so more realistically, I guess like because I like what minarchist is like. I basically want government to do
what it has to.
no like national defense.
Sure.
No, can't go to any other country. Like national defense, and that's pretty much it. Some minarchists, the community's kind of split on exactly what government does, but army. Some will include like fire departments, and policing and stuff like that.
Yeah, fair. I don't think those should be privatized. I think that's a pretty bad idea.
Okay, but you grew up, I assume, with a lot of rural friends because you grew up in a small town.
Yeah.
Volunteer firefighters are the fucking lifeblood.
But they're funded by the government.
Subsidized by the government is different than government employees.
I mean, like their trucks are paid for, the building is paid for, the
yeah,
equipment
but no,
is paid
but
for,
like
but their salaries are not.
But
like Carly's brother is a firefighter.
At my cabin, we have a volunteer fire force. These fucking guys drive their own pickup trucks.
Yeah.
Like they're not really like, you know what I mean. There's
and the cops where I live are like great because like I knew the addresses of like 5 of our town cops because that's just like how small the town was.
Yeah.
And I knew who their kids were in a lot of cases. One of them was my fucking neighbor. Like you can't be a shit cop because like I'm gonna egg your house.
Yeah.
I can see you.
I'm gonna beat the shit out of your kid.
Yeah, like very different.
So realistically though, I would like to see the government. So here's the thing. I want everybody to have healthcare.
Agreed. We take that for granted, but apparently people still fucking argue about it.
I want everybody to have healthcare. I want everybody to be safe. I want everybody to be fed. I want everybody to be housed. I just think that the government historically is a poor provider of these things. Like, we have socialized medicine. We have free healthcare, quote, 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 taxpayer-funded healthcare. But my brother is dead today because we have poor mental health care.
But
we have...
Let me add a caveat to that, because our mutual friend, her mother runs like an elite private clinic in Winnipeg.
Yeah.
And you don't hear about these things because most people, they don't pay out of pocket for a GP.
Yeah.
To do physicals on them every year.
Yeah.
Because it's taken for granted. But it is available. So private healthcare.
You can't really do it anymore. Because they closed like Pan Am. Because you can't really...
No, you can't. As a doctor, you can have a private practice.
No.
Yes. Here's the caveat. A doctor with a private practice has to do... it's a ratio of like for-profit or private clients to working for a public hospital. Okay. So there's like, for example, a plastic surgeon. I forget his name, but he works at like HSC. He works full-time at HSC because his private practice
has so many clients.
He has other doctors working for him, and he does all of the public service for his clinic. Oh, so his doctors can do all of that. So he works for the government for free.
Yeah, essentially.
And he makes millions in his private practice.
Yeah.
So for him, it's a fucking win-win, and his staff just runs it, and he puts his name on it. That's it.
You could literally.
So you can do that as a GP or any kind of doctor.
You can literally get fined here. As a doctor, if like your friend broke their arm and you casted it up without going through a hospital, you could like get a fine.
Yeah,
Fuck off.
Well, yes, that's maybe a little bit excess, but there is measures to make sure that you can make money privately, but not too much. You got to remember, my ex-girlfriend's stepfather was the CTO of Manitoba Health. Yeah. So we had many debates. Believe you me, over beers. Yeah. So like the intricacies of the market is a lot more complicated than you think. So for your brother, for example, the care would have been available, but it probably would have been really expensive, and you probably didn't even know it existed.
Well, and see my argument, because I've had people tell me, oh, but if the NDP had been in power, if the far left party had been in power, he would have had he would have had the care he needed.
I say it's bullshit.
My counter argument is you can't throw more money into an inherently broken system. Where my brother got turned away from a mental health clinic because, quote, he wasn't bad enough yet, and he was dead of an overdose 6 weeks later.
But you could have put him into a facility for a casual like $7,000 a month.
Yeah, which my parents couldn't afford.
Exactly.
Right?
So it's there, but it's inaccessible. So it's like it's an imperfect system.
Yeah. And
I would debate that yes, it's a broken system, but just like any entrepreneur's business, whatever massively scaling startup, you haven't been in a startup with this problem, so you can't completely empathize. But having way more customers and way more demand than you are equipped to handle.
Yeah.
Like, if you had to deliver, like, take your whatever bottle supply that you have, or whatever your output of bottles is, multiply that by 4.
Yeah.
But you get no more money.
Yeah.
How much more difficult does life get, right?
Of course.
So you get stretched thin, your quality drops, your timelines get all fucked up, you miss deliveries, you miss this, you miss that.
Yeah.
Like, being in a startup where you're like, I'm trying to sell as much as I can, and I'm like selling my product, I'm gonna make as much as I can. But when I've been in property management, which is when you, from day one, you start with too much demand.
Yeah.
And you're constantly trying to keep up. You never have enough money to fulfill the demand, because when you fulfill that need, the amount of money you make from it is not enough to get you advanced forward. So you're constantly digging a deficit just to survive. You got to prepare today to survive tomorrow. It's an insane system, and just hearing it from like the CTO, like Chief Technology Officer's perspective. He's like, do you know how many fucking softwares I manage? And how many like separate systems I deal with? And I'm like, how many? He's like, 47.
Why don't they just make it one?
It's too complex. You have GP clinics, you have dentist clinics, you have hospitals, you have ERs, you've got like all these different hospitals built decades apart. You got offices built decades apart. You got call centers built decades apart. Then you've got tax systems. Then you've got politicians that throw you policies and fucking metal all the time. And then they're like, oh, now you gotta consolidate your emergency room. So he was the guy that was championing the emergency room consolidation. Yeah. So whenever those fucking articles were coming out,
there was a huge controversy here.
Right. So like I would ask him like, hey, what do you think of this? And he would he'd roll his eyes and he's like, fuck you for bringing that up. But like I can't imagine managing that massive of a fucking thing. And nobody's gonna do that.
I have empathy for that, but at the same time, it's like, I would happily pay my taxes, for people to get good health care, but we use it to fucking bomb brown kids in fucking Afghanistan. Yes. We don't use it for fucking what it should be. Like, that's why I'm against taxation, is because we don't fucking, like, I posted a meme on my, I'll plug my capitalist propaganda page on Facebook. It's called, I love the smell of capitalism in the morning. Go like it up. I posted something, the meme, like the stonks meme or the panic guy?
Yeah.
That guy. So he's, it's like when the government steals your money, it's like panic. It's like, oh, but the government promises they'll fix the roads. Calm. It's like, but then they steal your money and still don't fix the roads. It's like panic. Because the amount, the fucking money that gets wasted. It's worse in the States, I know, but we're going right through a controversy right now with our Prime Minister giving fucking millions of dollars to charities that pay his fucking family money and shit, and
it's like fairly obvious backroom dealing. And his
finance minister Bill Morneau, fucking hate that guy. He just resigned as finance minister.
They got like a $700,000 vacation for like quote unquote meditative refocusing
and
of
Trudeau
their values.
Just prorogued Parliament for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So people are accusing him. He's just like, yeah, we're gonna take a break. Essentially, like locking out the government in the States, which they do.
Yeah.
All the time.
Recess.
Yeah, well, you like a lockout is different than a recess. Like lockout is when you're like forcing it.
Recess is like already
They already happened.
scheduled.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so remember how I'm like we're gonna have a business episode, and this just turned into politics.
We're talking. I think the business of government is relevant.
Is the biggest business there is. Yeah, I guess like at the end of the day, to wrap it all up, I would be more than happy to support a government that does, like you said, all the need, like feeds us all for free, or for free, taxpayer funded, right? Feeds us all, houses us all, gives us health care, gives us transportation,
Safety net services.
Yeah.
Like, if I could sum up everything I believe in into one sentence, it'd be like the government should provide safety net services so people
no one dies.
So people, if they fuck up, you live.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need to die in the richest country in the world just
Agreed.
because you lost your job.
Agreed.
I think that's insanely stupid.
I think most people can agree with that though.
Right, but not Americans.
No, okay, well they're hard to talk to, but
They're just not smart.
But I just think the government, our government for the last fucking 150 years, has not proven to me that they are competent enough to do that job.
Right, but they're always going to be 25 years behind.
Yeah, which is fucking useless.
By their sheer size.
Yeah, that was the day you were born.
Right.
25 years ago.
Hey.
Wow.
So, just by their sheer size, and like try getting 100 people to change their mind about something.
Yeah, no, I don't like.
Now multiply that by 100.
Yeah.
And now you have one government organization.
See, at a certain point, I don't like what I want to happen is what I know. Like, I realistically know that that's not going to happen, right? We're not just going to abolish fucking government and we're all okay. Like,
you know, the way that we believe things should go, you know when it'll happen? When people our age have tenure and seniority in government organizations. So, what is that? 25, 40 years. Because then we'll have a say. And our values today...
I know a ton of people my age that are fucking dumb.
Right, but, you know, whatever, the cream rises to the top. Let's say, ideally, people with values like us rise to the top and...
Make real change from the inside.
Make change, exactly, whatever the fuck you want to call it. That's going to be 25 years from now.
Yeah.
The kids, 25 years from now, our age, drinking beers, making a fucking podcast or whatever the equivalent is in 2045.
Light cast.
Right? They're going to be so pissed at us at how antiquated we are. We're going to be like, you know what? What it was like back in my day. Like, that's the cycle of life. Government is behind. Business is way ahead. And I believe that creates the happy little gap
where we thrive
for entrepreneurship, which is like, oh, this category is fucked, that category is fucked. And I was saying this in our call yesterday, in our mastermind call.
We have a weekly mastermind call. Tyler, myself, and two of our other friends.
Yeah,
shout out JL, shout out Mitch.
Pay me $1,000 and I'll do one for you. If you have entrepreneurs are defined as people that, you know, create new categories. Business owners do like incremental improvement. So I see politicians kind of the same way I see business owners, where it's like you go into a category and you're like, you know what, we're building houses out of wood, now we're going to build it out of like wood composite, or we're going to build it out of concrete and styrofoam composite for, you know, higher R value. You're still building fucking houses. An entrepreneur is like, you know what, I think houses are a bad idea. Let's have a city on the ocean.
Whoa.
Or on Mars.
Cloud City.
Mars City.
Hello, my name's Elon Musk.
Exactly. So entrepreneur is defined as like, they redefine the categories that they exist in.
Yeah.
So.
But you always have resistance.
Of course, but that's the fun of it.
I agree. Because I always like the quote that when, what is it? Henry Ford, I think, said it.
Yes.
They asked him...
If I gave the people what they asked, I would have given. They
They
would have said
faster horses.
faster horses.
Yeah.
But I made them a car, which was slower than the horses. But hey, look where we
And now look where we are now, yeah.
So that's the definition of an entrepreneur, and I love that because it's so simple.
Well, I like the
and it
they
explains so much about what I've been stressed about lately. It's like, you know what? I don't want the fucking easy way out. I don't want, like, if somebody tries to define you as an entrepreneur by, hey, if you're doing what you're doing because you want to make money, don't let somebody define you like that, because all of a sudden you realize an entrepreneur's way of making money is actually a pretty shitty way to make money.
Go get a fucking job. You can
Go
make
get
$4 grand a month.
Okay, the guy I'm working for right now, he's a bank manager. He's a bank manager. He owns 12 rental properties. He's 31 years old. Just bought $1 million house, doing whatever shitload of renovations to it. He's got, you know, the beautiful wife. He's got the life. He's got the cars. He's got the whatever. He's
Does
doing
he have
it.
a dog?
Yeah.
What kind?
Real cute. Half corgi, half chihuahua.
Does he have small legs?
Yeah. Stubby and yippy.
I like him.
He's good. His name is Bentley.
Bentley, he's a yipper.
We love Bentley, beer bongs, and Bentley, so.
True. Shut up, Post Malone.
And also Bentley. The Chihuahua corgi. I think. No, wait. Chihuahua Jack Russell Terrier.
He's not a corgi anymore?
No, Jack Russell.
Oh, I miss
He
him.
looks like a corgi, though.
My employee met a corgi named Kevin the other day.
Kevin.
I liked him.
Anyways.
I don't know if I'm going to keep this in. Anyways, continue.
He is living the textbook life. Like, you know, fucking buddy looked in a brochure. He's like, what's the highest salary? Bank manager, degree.
I'll take that.
BCom, sure, check mark. Fucking here's your 30 grand.
Yeah,
now I get a job.
Yeah.
Like, that's business owner.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of entrepreneurs out there that disguise themselves.
As business owners.
They are business owners that disguise themselves as entrepreneurs. Got that fucking backwards.
Like
so,
you.
Fuck you.
Got it. We talk about this.
I'm not going to name names, but like people that, like, when you ask them why do they do what they do, like I love Simon Sinek. Start with why. Yeah. If you ask a guy why do you do what you do, why do you start your business, if you see a light go off in their eyes, if you see them like brighten up, you know, their shoulders come back and, you know, they brighten up, their body language changes, like they're excited, you have an entrepreneur. Yeah. If you do that and you see someone squirm a little and like kind of give you an answer that sounds a little bit like it came from, I don't know, maybe a marketer.
Like they've rehearsed their line.
It's rehearsed, or maybe somebody else came up with it. It's not genuine. They don't like get physically energized by speaking about it. Yeah. You have a business owner.
You know what I usually say when someone asks me that?
What?
Ask me it.
Why, Willows?
Nothing else to do.
But why?
What else am I doing? I don't know.
See, there's another category of entrepreneurs. So it's like, no, you play like that, but that's not actually how you feel.
Yeah, I play up, so...
You play down. You play down like crazy.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like, I do a lot of farmers markets and events, sampling events, like a lot. Like, we're talking 100-hour plus weeks in the summer, right?
You can't give them your life story.
Can't give them my fucking life story. And I think it's more... I like the kind of mystery of no one knows what the fuck I'm thinking. Yeah. So I'll give you a few common questions that people ask me at markets and how I respond.
Which is fun to watch, by the way.
Yeah, so I get people that always go, "You can sell alcohol at a farmer's market?" And I respond, "No one's stopped me yet." And the worst one that I ever did that to, I didn't know who they were, obviously. It was the board member of the grounds that I was doing the event on. So she's like, "Move." Walked inside, came out with 2 other board members. She's like, "Can we see your license, please?" I'm like, "Yeah, here's my license. Fuck off." I think it's insulting. Yeah. To imply that, no, I just set up in this fucking park illegally.
Yeah,
Fuck you.
Nobody asks questions.
Yeah. whatever.
You're insulting my intelligence and your organizer's intelligence.
I always get why did you start a winery? I always answer I like to get drunk.
Yeah.
That gets a good laugh every time. What's your favorite? I hate that one.
Yeah.
I used to ask that until I started getting asked it. Now I never ask it anymore.
Like to a bartender.
To a bar, yeah. What's your favorite? I fucking hate that because fuck off. So how I answer that? Depends on the time of day. Pre-breakfast, maybe I like a sangria, a cider, something a little bit sweeter, something a little bit lower alcohol. And then as we approach lunch, maybe some of our wines. Like, the pre-breakfast always gets a good laugh. I told someone today that I was, they're like, I don't know which one to get. I'm like, well, one of each is an option. And they go, haha. And I'm like, ha ha ha, I'm 19 days late on my rent, so if you can get one of each, that'd be dope. I said that. I don't give a shit about whatever.
Stone cold delivery. Yeah, no. If you can make a joke out about like self-deprecating humor, like you're obviously pretty good at that. So that always wins.
I'm pretty good. Yeah, I'm pretty quick on my feet too. When people say stuff. My company, my winery's name is Shrugging Doctor, like a doctor that shrugs. People always misread it as Struggling Doctor. I get that very commonly.
Which is funny. And
then, so I get the occasional person, oh, are you the struggling doctor? And I go, not if you buy something.
So there's always like a good retort.
And I do this enough that I just have these retorts, but I'll get the occasional person try to fucking say something clever, and I usually can come up with something fucking back pretty quick.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good at that, typically.
We're fucking salesmen.
Yeah, exactly.
Day in, day out.
I don't know what my point was going into that.
I do, but I'm going to keep the conversation going.
Sure.
So I was speaking to the painter that is working the same job site I am right now, and he gets all of his jobs through like Kijiji. Like puts up an ad, $30 for 5 days, I'll paint your house, whatever.
Yeah.
That's how we got this fucking job.
Sure.
So there I am, where he's like, how are you, man? Like, what tile company do you work with? I'm like, none.
Yeah, you still don't have a fucking tile installer.
No. This is, most tile installers work adjacent to a company because customer comes in, I want to get some tile.
Yeah.
Can you refer me to an installer? And they do like a backdoor referral.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how the industry works.
Okay.
The fact that I don't have one and I don't advertise and I'm still busy means like
people are noticing that.
Right. They're like, how the fuck?
Yeah.
So you don't work with a tile company, you don't advertise, like how the fuck do you get your jobs?
Yeah.
So it's like, no, I know this guy. I know this guy because I know this other guy, and I know him because I try to sell him something, and I try to sell him something because they're doing this other thing. And it's like, I have a basis of networking that I've done over the last couple of years. I know a lot of people in real estate. I'm able to like kind of schmooze and sell and network and make friends. And then when I get that job, I'm looking around the job site. I'm like, this guy, this guy, this guy. They can all make me money.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make friends with them, impress them up front, and then the first 2 days I impress them, and then I shut up, and then I just let them talk over the next couple days because they're like, he bragged, I gotta brag.
Yeah.
Then I shut up next couple days, let them talk, learn all about them. So last 3-4 jobs I've been on, other contractors are like, all the other guys working on the job site, the plumbers, the electricians, the GCs, they're the ones that are sending me new jobs.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, my dad needs a shower done. Hey, I know this other guy, he's got another contract. Or, my friend just bought a house, he wants some renos. So everything is sourcing from that, so I'm like seeing all the threads. So you have a very unfair advantage when you come into something with all these different
can you put that into a concrete piece of advice for people?
So we were going on the effect of like, why do you do something?
Yeah.
You give, bullshit answers to real questions.
Yeah, but that's because what I'm creating with that.
Right. And with this business, I'm kind of doing like bullshit business. Like what I'm doing is kind of like it's not high level, it's not exciting, it's not innovative, but the bullshit that I'm doing on the front is really about the stuff on the back.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it because I want to get more towel jobs. I'm doing it because I want to meet more people with money. I want to meet more contractors. I want to meet more investors, and I want to learn the backbone. I want to learn how these social infrastructures work. So I'm like, if I'm gonna be flipping houses, and I want to find a painting guy, I want to find a plumbing guy. I want to know how do I find them and how do I trust them.
Yeah.
I need to know how they talk. I need to know how they work. I need to know how they make money.
Yeah.
Where do they find money?
Yeah.
So I'm deconstructing from the back end.
Okay.
So that why I'll never talk about.
Yeah.
Just like at a farmer's market, I'm like, hey, why the fuck are you growing grapes in Manitoba?
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna be like, you know
Nothing
what?
else to do.
I saw some shit in my backyard. It was climbing up the fence. I'm like, those vines are growing like crazy. That shit's crazy. I didn't know vines could grow here. You know what? Vines grow here. Maybe you can grow grapes here. Maybe you can grow wine grapes here.
No, that's
Maybe you
too
can make
much
wine here.
thought.
Like,
That's
exactly.
That's
You're gonna
too
bore
many steps.
You're gonna bore the customer, even though
Yeah.
the reality might be closer to that.
What does it matter what the reality is? Because a lot of times people are just fucking talking to talk. Like, they don't actually give a shit what you're... they're like, oh, where's the name come from? And I'm like, do you actually care? Or...
Yeah.
Maybe not 9, but like 7 out of 10 times, I'll say, there's a blog post about it on our website. Here, take a card.
Or, like, what's the name about? Is like, would it help you buy more wine?
Well, it's like, some people, I can feel out if they're just, you know...
Tire kicking or...
They don't care.
Yeah.
Right? They're just, oh, whatever, haha. I guess, like, part of the mystique of me, you know, starting this business at, you know, writing the business plan at 18, starting at 20, like, part of me getting in this position in the first place is more about just this brand. Like, my brand, myself, Willows, like, kind of is bigger than just the Shrugging Doctor brand,
Yeah.
right?
So I know you don't like talking about this, but I'm basically baiting you to describe why did you build a wine business?
Yeah.
And why do you continue to build a wine business?
Nothing else to do, I don't know.
No, that's a fucking lie.
I like to get drunk. I don't know.
Also a fucking lie. I know you built a wine business because you're like, hey, how do we make money?
Yeah.
You're like, hey, you remember we made some good liquor?
Yeah.
It's legal to make homebrew and share with your friends. So,
Yeah.
your partner is a talent for making liquor.
Zach does, yeah.
He does not fuck up.
No.
And when he doesn't fuck up, it's actually better than not fuck up. It's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
He makes good shit.
Yes, he does.
But the two of you are standing there and like, how do we make some money?
Yeah.
Let's build a liquor business.
Yeah.
But not distilling.
No.
Because it's horrible in this province.
Money as well.
Also not beer.
Like startup.
Yeah. Also not beer because, well, startup costs and everyone's fucking doing it. So option number 3, let's continue with wines. It didn't come from a place of like, I'm dead passionate about making
No.
honey mead or raspberry wine or blueberry wine. Like, a lot of businesses are built out of passion projects, but yours is more than that.
I think that is a negative to people, that they think they can only successfully run a business that they are diehard passionate about.
Yeah, I completely disagree with that.
With what I just said, or that you have to be diehard?
Well, you don't have to be diehard about what you do.
Yeah, agreed. Well, how many fucking people you know with jobs are diehard passionate about their fucking
You're not.
job?
Well,
right?
actually, you might find more people these days diehard passionate about their job.
Yeah, I don't think so.
But like, those people are gonna not be making any money.
No,
they're gonna be like an intern at some startup, or they're gonna be a volunteer, or like they're not
What I'm passionate about is
going against the grain.
Is winning.
Yeah.
I'm passionate about doing my own thing and being able to. I like succeeding when everyone tells me I fucking can't. I like proving people wrong. I like doing.
Therefore, creating categories.
I have done something in this province that nobody else has been able to do in 150 in there. So, can I tell you something?
Yeah.
I am the fastest winery owner in the entire world right now.
Please explain.
No other winery owner has ever beaten me in a foot race.
Alright. We gotta take you on tour.
Nope. I refuse.
Thanks, Trump. Nope!
I've been saying that to people.
If you want to beat me, you must do it on my terms.
Yeah, no, I've been saying that to people, and people are like, okay, how many foot races have you had with winery owners? I said, well, none, but that means I'm undefeated. Undisputed champion.
Also, you have to drink 7 bottles of wine before
So,
you run.
If any winery owner out there thinks you're faster than me, if you race me, come to the East Kildonan YMCA in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, and I will race you on the track. And what? You're saying, I don't want to travel from Italy to Canada. Okay, well then I'm faster, obviously. Undisputed
You
champion.
bitched out.
Undisputed champion. Do you think there's a place for hyperbole in marketing like that? I'm the fastest winery owner in the world.
I think if you can make people laugh...
Yeah, I think there's a lot of value in making people laugh.
I think hyperbole is pretty much what marketing is.
I think I built my business on this part, on shit like that.
I'm pretty sure you basically push it as far as you legally can. Seems to be how marketing is.
Yeah, fair point. And they always say marketers ruin everything, right?
Right. And to that point, I was listening to the Wondery podcast, Business Wars.
Yeah. We talk about that often on this podcast.
Yes. Just plugging, I guess.
Let's do a collab.
They were talking about cereal. And I'm like, that's a boring topic.
Yeah.
But cold cereal,
Excuse me.
like their marketing and stuff like that, they were one of the originating like companies or whatever campaigns that made people like pause and say, you know what, health claims should be validated.
Dude, fucking...
They're like, we can decrease your cholesterol by 9.5% because of our high fiber Cheerios. It's like, okay, says who? Like,
well,
they were saying that shit before it was illegal to say that shit.
Well,
they made those laws.
That whole breakfast is the most important meal of the day thing.
It's fucking bullshit.
Was a marketing ploy. There's research that say eating light in the morning is much more beneficial to your health than eating heavy.
Yeah, absolutely. I fast. I do 18-hour fast, so I don't eat until 11 a.m. If I do eat, it's like a single piece of toast or like maybe a bagel or something. Yeah. Like really light, simple carb, maybe with some water or some coffee. That's the maximum I'll eat in the morning. Yeah. And I'm not hungry until like noon, sometimes even 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon.
I never eat breakfast.
Yeah.
Even at... When I was in high school?
Breakfast is an invention of capitalist America. Like,
all right, are you sure? People didn't used to eat.
Breakfast as the most important meal of the day with like sugar loaded, calorie loaded, mineral absent, no vitamins, no nutritional value, like just like have some fucking dairy and some bread. Yeah. Like that's an American innovation.
Well, so I don't eat breakfast. I eat very little.
Yes.
You've seen that, like I don't fucking eat at all almost.
It's kind of scary. You're like my girlfriend. I always make fun of her, but I said you eat air. I said your favorite meal of the day is the fucking air you breathe, and that's kind of the joke because she eats so little.
I think I've said this on this podcast before, but rest in power, Mac Miller. Yeah. He had a line that says, "I just eat pussy. Other people eat food. Other people need food."
You know that I was mistaken for Mac Miller at a concert once?
I don't think that's true.
No, he was hilarious. So me and a friend of mine who's an actual musician, I have no talent, we performed at a social of one of his relatives.
A social, for those of you not living in Manitoba,
sorry,
is a
Government sanctioned.
No, it's not government. You basically raise money for your wedding by selling tickets and overpriced drinks and prize draws to your friends and family.
And the government lets you do it if you're getting married.
What do you mean government lets you do it?
Getting a license to sell liquor at a social is a specific government license, and you can only get that license if you're getting married.
Socials are so weird. Why do we do that?
You cannot. If you Willows wanted to go and like get a license to sell liquor at a social and make profit,
absolutely get a license.
no, you can't.
I personally can't.
Unless you were getting married.
I am getting married.
There you go.
To the grind, baby.
So you
anyway,
can fake it.
You were
but anyways,
performing at a social.
Yes, performing at a social, and some super drunk chick comes up to me and it's like, "Oh my god, it's Mac Miller!" And I was like on stage, whatever, hyping my bro. It was a weird time. Don't ask about it. And she was so drunk, she thought I was Mac Miller.
You don't look anything like Mac Miller.
I know. That's the funny part. She thought I was Mac. I guess because I'm white.
That great.
Like,
oh my god, it's Eminem.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god, it's Bill Clinton.
So 3 different people came up to me, and they were like, "Hey, you know, she seems like real sweet on you. You know, we could like hook you up with her." And it's like, dude, fuck no. Like she's like blackout drunk. She thinks I'm Mac Miller. I'm not. Like no, absolutely not. And as I'm like talking to this guy, he's like, "Yeah, you know what? She's my cousin. I could like, you know."
Who?
It was
this guy.
The funniest fucking thing. I swear to God, it's the truth. Happened to me like 3 times.
What do you mean 3 times?
No, that night.
Okay, I thought you meant 3 different times people thought you were Mac Miller.
No. 3 times that night.
Okay,
They're
right.
like, "Yeah, you know what? She seems super sweet on you." I guess she was like whatever the hot girl of that area, and
that reserve.
And
that small.
You know, I'm a good boy at the time. And I'm like, no. I don't want no trouble. Like, I'm not gonna fuck with that girl. And as I'm talking to this guy about it, I'm saying like, absolutely not. Like, I'm not interested in her. We look over at her. She was like dancing when he walks up. Finished the conversation 2 minutes later. She's sitting on a chair, fucking like bent over backwards in half, passed out in the middle of a dance floor. Like her head is like inverted. I'm like, yeah, no, good call. She's fucking blackout. I'm not Mac Miller. Believe it or not. I didn't even say a single fucking word on stage.
I hooked up with a girl one time because she thought I was Rasputin.
See, you closed on it. I was too nice.
Rasputin? The Russian communist.
It could have been real.
Rah, rah, Rasputin, lover of the Russian queen. I actually do love Russian queens, to be honest.
Who doesn't?
What? Someone asked me what my bucket list was, and I'm like...
Fuck a princess?
Yeah, no.
See, I know this list.
It's a Archer quote where he's like, I want to have a threesome with 2 actual princesses. Like, twin princesses.
Like the...
Here's a question I asked my Facebook fans the other day that I got a lot of response to, actually, that I just kind of wanted to lob to you to see what your gut reaction is. What do you think's easier? Making one business to $1 million in sales a year, or making 5 businesses to $200,000 a year? So same amount of money. Why? Why do you think that? Justify it. Because I made a business to $200,000 in like a year and a half. Like, I'm not gonna say easy, but like simply.
But I think the emotional energy that goes into coming up with a new idea.
Mm-hmm.
We both know people that do shit like that.
What?
Soft start a bunch of things
And see what sticks, kind of thing.
No, they ride them to mediocrity, and they're like, fucking great. I got 7 mediocre ass businesses that get nothing done.
Yeah, we know a few people like that. Yeah.
Right. So.
No, but I'm not asking you what the optics are better or what you would prefer. What do you think is easier to make $1 million?
Easier?
Yeah.
I think it depends who you are.
Okay.
If you are an entrepreneur,
yeah,
the one thing I say, shoot your one thing for a fucking billion.
Yeah.
And
you'll land at 100 million.
And be happy when you fail and end up at $1 million.
Yeah.
Like,
I think that's easier if you're an entrepreneur. If you're somebody that's like, you know what, I don't want to, I don't think, fuck the government, fuck the system, I'll burn down your house if you...
That's me.
Right. I'll burn down your house if... There's probably like 300 things that get put behind that statement.
For me?
And would justify it.
Okay. Yeah, probably.
Like, easily. I'm not that far from that.
You kicked a pug?
No.
I would be burn your house down?
Okay, yes. Are you asking me if I would?
No.
No, I would not. But yes, I think if you're that kind of person, build one thing. If you are the kind of person that's like, you know what, I don't really give that much of a shit about what I do for a living. I just want to make a living and live a good life.
Yeah.
I'm about lifestyle. There's a key word. Tell me about one good entrepreneur that you know that markets lifestyle first.
No one?
No, because look at Gary Vee. He's like, fuck lifestyle. My fucking lifestyle is elevators, town cars, meetings, jet planes, and fucking texting on my phone all day long, 19 hours a day, emails. That's my fucking lifestyle. Don't be a cunt, start a business. Like, that's what an entrepreneur will tell you. If Buddy's selling you lifestyle, he doesn't believe in what he's selling.
I agree.
He believes in the money he makes from what he sells.
Do you think that people... I think we agree to the answer to this question.
Absolutely do.
Do you think that people romanticize entrepreneurship?
100%.
Yeah.
Which is why I love this definition of business owner versus entrepreneur, because it just simplifies that. And people romanticize entrepreneurship, and they're like, if they want to do something so that they can make money, like they want to, now they turn it into lifestyle.
Yeah.
They turn it into transactional. When you make it transactional, it becomes a business operation.
Define, for the people listening, I know what you're talking about, but you're drunk.
Sure.
Define the lifestyle entrepreneur that you're talking about.
Lifestyle entrepreneur has, here's the hashtags, laptop lifestyle. Drives fast cars.
The people that advertise...
Shoots good golf.
The
has
people,
fancy shoes.
I always hate the people that advertise, working less to make more, right?
Right. It's the
all you have to do is work 10 hours a week to fucking...
It's the something for nothing people.
Yeah. You ever read that book?
Something for nothing, or even worse, the more for less.
You ever read that book, The 10-Hour Work Week or whatever?
Tim Ferriss?
I think so, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no. Great book. It's not actually about what the title says it is. And even he says, he's like, I fucking hate when people quote me about that book. He's like, I work 100 hours a week.
Yeah. I guess, because I've had,
4-hour work week.
Yeah, that's what it is, 4-hour work week. I've had people, I get because I'm sure you do too, because we do a lot of business posts on Instagram and stuff. Yeah. I get a ton of MLM people.
I just made a post about this and somebody got butthurt.
Sending me messages all the time.
Yep.
Hey, do you want to make some extra money fucking doing crypto or whatever? I always get people that are like, you can make up to $3,000 a fucking day or whatever. And then I always respond, only $3,000 a day or $3,000 a day? That's not worth my fucking time, bro.
Yeah.
I hate the phrase, the serial entrepreneur.
Yeah. Serial entrepreneur implies...
You're failing constantly.
That is kind of the implication, because look at Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah. He did Facebook and that's it.
You cannot call him a serial entrepreneur. He made one thing and then he cannibalized everything else that he bought.
I use the phrase lifetime entrepreneur. Is because I think that's in this podcast's description. Booze Baron and lifetime entrepreneur Willows.
Right.
Because
I'm gonna do this shit till I'm dead.
And I've been doing it. I don't know if you saw my post. I posted my my lemonade stand sign that I found in my closet.
Yeah.
Chris's Lemonade Oasis. It was on fucking Mega Blocks, and I colored it with crayon. because I was 8 years old. They had a fucking lemonade stand in my cabin. Like, I've been a lifetime entrepreneur, and I will be. I always love the. There's a quote in Suits where Harvey and Scotty are talking or whatever, and they're talking about how some guy retired, and they're like, "Did he really retire?" And then they both at the same time go, "Pussy," like. Because, like, I honestly, I couldn't imagine just quitting everything and just being on a beach and fun. Like,
I'll die first.
Why? Like, because I guess we have a different perspective because we like what we do, and if we don't, we create a new situation when we like what we do.
Yeah, or burn down the old one. Whatever.
But I get so much fucking like fulfillment from winning and accomplishing and selling.
And just going against the grain all the time.
Yeah, like I could never imagine myself not doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, serial entrepreneurs, I get a lot of those on Instagram that fucking send me messages.
I know a handful of people that I could be like, that's a serial entrepreneur, aka he kills it at what he does, and literally everything he touches that is going to turn to gold.
Mm.
Or she. Sorry to make that gendered, but anything they touch is going to turn to gold.
Yeah.
There are those people.
Oh yeah, no, 100%.
I would give a handful of people that title without any qualms. Like, oh yeah,
you're a serial entrepreneur.
100%.
Yeah.
There's not many of you.
Use serial.
If you're gonna say it, you're not it.
That's I guess like
Think about the Skip Boys.
Yeah.
Like those guys. Like they're not putting serial entrepreneur on their bios.
I guess
they're not.
I forget what it's from, but they say like you're always the title that other people give you, not the title that you give yourself.
Right.
Right. I just changed my Instagram bios recently to Booze Baron, Pipe, New Money.
New money.
Yeah. And Booze Baron, New Money. It used to be. I'm in the empire business. That was a Breaking Bad quote. That's what all my social media used to have.
Yeah.
I'm phasing. I'm going in a new phase now. And I said, I made a status on Facebook. I'm one of the fucking millennials that still uses Facebook a lot. But
I'm honestly confused about it.
I get the most engagement for more than one business and my personal shit on Facebook than I do anywhere else. And I posted like, how much liquor do I have to sell to be a booze baron? Booze baron, technically, if you like look up the definition, it was like implying bootleggers and stuff, which like works with my, persona. I'm kind of breaching the,
you can't do a lot of bootlegging these days. It's too easy. Alcohol is too easy.
Yeah, too easy.
When you decriminalize and organize the distribution of a product, it takes about 12 to 15 years for the
black market.
For the black market to kind of die out.
Yeah.
So bootleg liquor
is gone.
Is long gone.
Yeah.
By like 40 years.
And people still make bootleg quote liquor where they sell it to their friends for $5 a bottle, right? You know what I mean?
But it's not an industry.
It's not an industry.
It's not organized. It's not sophisticated.
But marijuana in Canada just became legal, 4 years ago?
Something like that.
That is still a giant industry, the illegal marijuana.
Yeah, they just shut down that plant. That was like, they had a storefront, they had a delivery service, they had a website.
What is it, Dr. Weed or something?
But like they were they got shut down because they got inspected. Like
So this was a marijuana delivery service that you could order from. They had a fucking website that took credit cards.
Yep.
And delivered to you. But the thing was, you had to have someone refer you.
Right.
You couldn't get in. There was a password. And you had to have someone refer you to get in.
Right.
Now, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, they're exclusive, whatever. What we learned 5 years later was it was because it was a fucking illegal operation that just
operating
got huge
in plain view. Yeah.
No, and then they fucking they shut down their main warehouse. They seized like 5 tons of marijuana, 75 computers, like fucking hundreds of thousands in cash. And I'm reading the police report, and I'm like, wait, that was an illegal business? I know 100 people that use that shit. Like,
yeah, and it was like professional
no,
packaging.
and one of my
like
friends who
nutrition labels.
who used to use them thought it was legit.
Yeah.
They're like, well, how was I supposed to pay on PayPal with a fucking credit card and they're an illegal business? Like,
Yeah, indiscernible. Like, fantastic setup, but I mean, it certainly did not last forever. And the police were probably looking at that for a while and being like,
trying to build a case, right?
what's the best way to bring that down?
Yeah.
We're like, oh, you don't have a license because now it's legal.
Yeah.
So they don't even have to prove like distribution model, whatever, like illegal activity. They're like, oh, here's activity. You don't have a license.
Yeah, because when they legalized everything,
it got worse.
It got worse for people because we had a ton of like head shops and marijuana shops that were in the quote gray market.
Yeah.
Where they were doing like a medical marijuana thing, but they weren't really doing it legitimate, but it wasn't in the law that they couldn't do it. It was this whole thing, very popular in Vancouver, in British Columbia, where they were doing all these things. But when they legalized marijuana, they put in the legislation, here's what legal is, here's what illegal is. And they put it all in writing, and then they were able to shut down all these extra places.
So here's why, and I've argued with many a boomer about this: legalize and decriminalize.
2 different things.
Number 1, decriminalize.
Decriminalize is what we want.
Yeah. Legalize
means it's regulated, means
it
government
can,
controls.
Right. It can happen, it doesn't need to happen. But decriminalize needs to happen.
Decriminalize just means that you can't get in trouble for doing drugs, buying drugs, having drugs.
Right.
Yeah.
I believe that needs to happen across all drugs.
Agreed.
Period.
Yeah, agreed.
And legalize the ones that are, whatever, forefront.
Sure.
Like, let's say, cocaine at the clubs. If
Yeah.
you didn't have to worry about overdosing or fentanyl or any of that shit, like, cocaine's not that bad of a thing.
Not really, right?
Not much worse than any other shit.
Not worse than alcohol.
Right.
Alcohol's gonna fuck up your liver before cocaine fucks up your lungs.
Maybe you rot your teeth, but hey, so does smoking.
Yeah, exactly.
So...
Well, it's so weird that we've picked as a society what's okay and what's not.
Right. It's fucked up.
Yeah.
It's political.
Yeah. 100%, yeah.
Which we both disagree with.
What?
So, the politicization of which drugs are okay.
Yeah, fuck off.
Shrooms?
They're plants!
They're safe.
Okay, why is marijuana okay now? Like, and I know if you live in the States, a lot of states, or
You still go to jail for having a gram.
or different places in the world, marijuana is still illegal. But in Canada, marijuana is legal, and not only legal but destigmatized.
Yeah.
Grandparents are fucking smoking marijuana, like no one gives a shit anymore.
Yeah.
But why is all the arguments that you have to make marijuana legal, why are you not applying that to psilocybin mushrooms?
Yeah.
Because they just grow wild.
And
they're fucking natural. Like, and they're just as bad as fucking meth. Like,
it's not.
No. As far as law is,
But it's not.
Obviously.
Not even.
But no,
not even,
but like,
not even close.
Why are they not the same as marijuana? Fuck off, right? Like,
they aren't woke.
Well, and then like cocaine, like I don't know if you've ever seen videos of people processing cocaine. Mm-hmm. It's a plant, but they fucking use gasoline and fucking a bunch of other shit to process it. Like it's bad.
Well,
like,
I know, I'm
right. But fucking psilocybin mushrooms, you pick them and take them, like you know.
Yeah, put in some tea.
Yeah. So I don't know. We're I think both on very the same.
We digress. Drugs are good.
Drugs are good.
Have you tried them?
Drugs?
Yeah.
Yes.
They're good.
All of them. I've tried pretty much every drug.
It's like the black tar heroin for white people. It's like,
black tar heroin for white people.
Wait, black tar heroin
is for white people.
Black tar heroin for white people.
We've never done black tar heroin.
No.
Regular heroin.
Sure.
Also no. I don't want to snitch on myself too much.
So,
before we put ourselves in jail by talking any more about drugs,
if you enjoy this rhetoric,
subscribe to the podcast.
or
Vote Willows.
Or fuck off.
What do you stop? There are fans, Tyler. We like them.
Yeah. So
I like you. Anyway, my name is Willows.
And my name is Tyler.
And thank you for listening to Alcohol Beyond This Point
Podcast.
If you're listening to this podcast right now, can you please comment somewhere?
Buy us some shots.
Can you please comment somewhere where you're listening from? I really appreciate that.
And buy some shots.
You can follow me, Willows, VOTEWILOWS, Vote Willows on everything. And Tyler is Tyler_the Builder on Instagram, and he hasn't changed his other usernames even though I keep telling him to.
I don't use enough social media.
And the podcast, if you're somehow listening to this and you don't follow us, Alcohol Beyond This Point on Instagram and Alcohol Beyond This Point podcast on Facebook.
We promise not to spam you.
Yeah, we just post when we record new things. We really appreciate it, guys. Like, we really do. And we promise we will have mics in the next 5 episodes.
Yes.
Maybe 10.
Less than 5.
Okay, 5. We're going to buy mics. We've committed. We're going to spend the money. We're going to buy some mics.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
In advance.
So yeah, thanks you for listening to the podcast. We appreciate it. Episode 17. This is a business podcast after all. And,
That's... Just go there. That's...